I've been in situations and pockets where you would think there'd be a sisterhood, but it's a silent competition.
Yes.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I refuse to let that taint my ability to look at the next sister to think that she's going to do the same thing. Sometimes we got to take the instances that happen to us and we got to say, okay, that's an isolated event.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Aunties podcast. I am Joe.
I'm Key.
And I'm Jay. And we are here to keep it real,
Raw,
and relatable,
while sharing our experiences,
opinions, and feelings.
Yes. What are we talking about today, ladies?
Sisterhood amongst women, particularly amongst Black women.
All right. This is a good topic.
Yes.
While we talk about this topic, can't stress enough the importance of supporting and networking with women, especially with us as Black women and lifting each other up. We're going to dive into the topic a little bit more, but I think we can also touch on how could we be better about doing that, because I just don't feel like we do a great job with that.
As a collective.
As a collective, yes. So I just like to share a story real quickly. Last weekend, I can say I probably was around some of the most amazing, wonderful Black females. Came together, we bonded, we shared, we cried, networked, get to know some new amazing women at this retreat that one of my coaches in my business hosts annually. So
you want to name it?
Black Girl Everything is an organization. It's a collective of Black female entrepreneurs, but she brings some amazing women together with expertise to share their expertise and their knowledge with women who are trying to grow their businesses. Okay. So I just have to just shout that out, like just the experience to see us all together in one room that way. But love to see more of that.
Yeah. So I think it's important.
Yes, it is.
I think it's important without the cattiness. I think it's important without the comparison. Feeling that someone, if you don't look a certain way, you're being judged or feeling like you're less than. And I think a lot of that happens when we get together and we just let things go and just be you and lift each other up. And I think that is what is something that is needed. Yes. For sure. For sure. So I thank you for sharing that, because it's important for others to hear about organizations like this in case they want to look into it and possibly join.
Yes.
So I think it's truly important. And there's other organizations out there like this that do like pockets of this type of thing. But sometimes these types of scenarios get a bad rap.
Yeah.
And I hate it because someone can take one experience that they've had from someplace else and then all of a sudden all of the things
like good that they did.
Yeah, like thinking about the empowerment brunches or something like that. Oh, those are nothing but mean girls getting together. You have to be a clique, and that
or trying to get money and all that kind of stuff.
Some of that, sometimes maybe that's true, but that doesn't mean all of them are like that.
Right.
You have to exercise some discernment before you plop your money down to invest in some of these things and to attend. But some of them actually can be worthwhile.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I even go back to the one you did. I don't know how many years ago.
It was 18.
Yeah, definitely. It was a room full of women, not necessarily all Black women, but just women in general coming together again, sharing a level of knowledge and expertise and networking. And while it's great to have those type of platforms and forums to do that, and I just wish we did more of it outside of those platforms. Yeah, I think it could be even more powerful.
Yeah. I always said I wanted to do it again. It just takes a considerable amount of effort. I still like connect with some of those women on social media to this day. So I think it's important. I just think it's important to really lift each other up because all too often, and I've even been a product of work, particularly in. It doesn't even necessarily have to be in corporate America, but I'm a shout out corporate America because I've been in situations and pockets where you would think there'd be a sisterhood, but it's a silent competition. Yeah, it drives me crazy. Yeah. And I refuse to let that taint my ability to look at the next sister to think that she's going to do the same thing. So I always say to you out there, even if you've been wronged by a manager, a coworker, whoever, who happened to be a sister, don't let that be the blanket for all sisters, because that's not true. Yes. So I just sometimes we got to take the instances that happen to us and we got to say, okay, that's an isolated event.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that message because I think people do get jaded
Yes.
behind things like that. So I think
Sure.
sharing that message and letting them know, listen, this is probably one isolated incident that doesn't mean it's going to happen over here. Everybody has to give their fair chance. Like I think about it as a way of dating, right? You're not going to, at least to me, when I date, I always date not coming with the mindset of what the past relationship happened. Yeah, I'm starting fresh and new here. So same thing when you encounter other women of color, give them their fair shot. So yeah.
You just got to look at the positive aspects of having a sisterhood with the empowerment, the networking, the mental health piece. Oh yeah, able to share and talk and get everything out in the open, so you guys can build on something if you have bouncing off different ideas. And actually bringing it to flourishing.
Yeah. I think it's important. So with that being said, what do you think true sisterhood looks like? What does it really mean? Yes.
I think it means showing up.
Yes.
Showing up even sometimes when you don't always have the capacity to do so sometimes, because you don't always have the capacity, but when that person needs you, find that little extra oomph and show up for that person. I think it's being open and honest.
That's a big one. The honesty and an element of transparency, because of sometimes you can have the longevity of knowing someone, but when you're not completely that's what I think a piece that's sometimes missing sometimes. Yeah. Where there's not a level, because if you feel there's a fear that if you're too honest that maybe it'll be used against you, or maybe it won't land in the right way. So I think sometimes that's the thing.
Or you're going to be judged.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, and this is me being transparent, because one thing I shared at the conference in one of the sessions is that I find it easier to talk to a therapist or a life coach than my friends sometimes, because sometimes you're afraid to be maybe judged or questioned, or so is being able to do that. But I think they have to create a safe space for that to happen, and not. I mean, you can have friends for years, but you don't always feel safe in sharing some of the most vulnerable pieces of you because of, for whatever reason. It could be a fear of, like I said, judgment, or it could be embarrassment, or you could be like, how are they going to receive this? How are they going to look at me now? Right. This kind of thing. So, but I think being honest and being transparent is showing up too. So I'm overcoming that hurdle, because there are times where I just go and sit to myself because my best friend in life is no longer here. So trying to be able to share sometimes is hard.
Yeah. No,
I'll stop there because I don't want to cry.
I get it. I go on. I get it. All right, your turn. I get it.
I've been more open with you guys, and that we have 30 plus years, and I've been more open with my life and what I've experienced within the last couple of years, because I know at some point I needed to get it out. I have not been able to find someone to talk to, so that's been a struggle.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I did find someone, but now she's retired. She was a much older woman, and I was actually able to open up some wounds and resolve it with her, but I knew I needed to open up more stuff. But unfortunately, she left, and it's been hard trying to find someone
to fill that gap.
Yeah. So instead of keeping it bottled up, because I'm noticing now this premenopausal shit.
But it's something.
I need to let it out, because I don't want to go into a dry hole. Yeah.
It's not called stress. So yeah, I think all the things that you mentioned, I think sisterhood is about trust. I think it's about loyalty. I think it's about just creating a safe space for that person without judgment. You need those things, but to your point, it is sometimes easier to talk to someone that is outside of that.
Yes, sir.
Because you're like, one is like, I don't care if you judge me, right? Right. But because you're not vested enough, only for the transactional piece of it. Right. Sometimes you can have so many friends and still feel alone.
Yeah.
Because you feel like people don't get you, or you feel like you can't bring whatever it is to whoever many people that you know. You can't bring it. because it's too heavy, it's too this, and they just won't get it, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe you just don't want to dump it on them.
You don't know their capacity.
Their
Like, you don't know what they may be going through.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So you sit with it in isolation, and then you getting messed up inside.
Yeah.
So I think true sisterhood enables you to really do that. And it's beyond just a having fun thing, because you can have like the sisterhood where it comes to like from a business perspective, then a personal perspective, or sometimes it's melded in together, right? But with that being said, why do some women find it so hard to trust and support each other? And I'm particularly talking about Black women.
Well, you can't correlate the two.
What do you mean?
You can be supportive and still have trust issues. Like,
so let me not say trust and how about trust or support each other?
Okay.
Trust or support each other. Actually, that's how I wrote it down. Or.
That or makes a big
difference. It does. So why do you think, so let me read it the right way. Why do some women find it hard to trust or support each other?
I guess it's that trust rooted into childhood that I'm a believer in that. But you should always be able to support. But unfortunately, that jealousy and envy,
that's where I was going,
creeps up into it. And that's why it's been hard in our community to be able to do that, because there's constant areas or needs to tear other people down.
Well, yeah, I think that, but I also think historically it was created. And if we go back in time, you go back to the field, niggas in the house, niggas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The colorism and all that kind of stuff. All those things come into play.
Yeah.
And some people, unfortunately, still to this day do not know how to look beyond those things and know where they were how they were created and where they came from. And how to say, that's all a lie. That's an untruth. We don't have to be that way towards each other. The crabs in the barrel mentality, all those kinds of things. So I think all that plays a part into it. And some people, unfortunately, do not know how to unlearn those things and come out of those things and know that we will be stronger together, because we're too busy looking each other up and down, judging each other. They're not here and I'm here, or, they look like this, they dress like this, they act like this, and without even knowing their whole story.
That's right. They make assumptions.
Yes. It's always that judging the book by its cover. Because,
so they're looking at the skin color. You
gotta
pass that
I'm not
paper bag.
Yeah, I'm not the most vocal person when I first walk in a room and I meet people, and automatically unapproachable. I'm mean. I don't talk to people, and that's not. I'm just trying to take things in, and I don't always have the bubbly personality all the time, but that don't mean I'm a mean person and unapproachable. You haven't even gotten to know me yet, but you're making all these assumptions about what type of person I am, and you haven't even said one word to me.
And that happens a lot, and I think sometimes that starts when they're young. It's conditioned. Think about even on the playground or middle school, or I'm just thinking of the different scenarios where it can play out, where a person looks a certain way, she thinks she all of that, this and that, and then it just trickles down. So I think a lot of what you said, a lot of it's jealousy. I think too, if you are within a circle and you're all marching to the same beat, and then one person, like, all clapping, and one person goes, then they wondering, they going this way, and then you may have a person that's like, why she gotta do that? Meanwhile, she's clapping on, marching to her own beat, making some motion, doing some other stuff. And because it's different, or it's because they don't think subconsciously, maybe they can't do it, they won't support. And so now I'm giving you that's one scenario. Let me make it a little bit more lifelike. If someone's starting a business, if someone's throwing a brunch, if someone's doing this, and you have your circle where you have a group of friends that are all together and all say, I want to do this. And you get 5 people out of them that'll say, oh, then I'll support you, buy your stuff. And that one person be like, what's she doing? What is that? What is it? Or brunch, I'm not going. I can't, or making every excuse. It's because I think that's something within themselves that they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that it's sad because they never really truly come to grips with what sisterhood should be, or what it mean, or friend would mean for them, I think.
I feel like this is coming to play a lot lately. What are ways to show up for each other beyond just liking a post on IG? that's the way people are connected now. So it started with, I guess, Facebook, everybody finding they people or whatever.
Yeah.
And then are we really supporting each other or just performing support for social media?
Okay.
No, you're right.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
I think that's a very modern way because I'm happy. I'm glad you brought that into because social media can, especially with the younger generation, if you could put a post up and if you don't get enough likes, people really get bothered by that. They're like, whoa, man, what the hell? Why you ain't liking my post? Exactly. Maybe I didn't see it. Yeah. And listen, the way Instagram is right now, you may not be seeing none of the people you follow right now. They got some weird stuff going on with the album. But
yeah,
the truth of the matter is, it comes up. Like, you didn't like my thing, Again, it's generational, right? So, but I understand the mindset because that translates into you're not supporting me. You might be jealous of me. Like, or if let's say you have a business, right? And you don't share you share your friend's business, but then they don't turn around and share your joint.
Yeah,
I don't even get so wrapped up into that.
No, but people do.
I know people do. I know that. And listen, and the reason why I know people do because sometimes like some people would share my stuff, and then either I didn't see their stuff to share. I share people's stuff a lot.
Right.
Yeah. I can't say I like people share my stuff, and I'm okay with that because and you get the question of why are you always posting somebody else's business? I don't see them me posting your stuff. That I do it because that's what I want to do. That's my way of showing support to the person. I'm not necessarily asking for it in return, but that's how I support.
Yeah.
If I can't go to the event, if I can't make a purchase from the person or whatever, this is my way of showing support.
It's free.
It's free.
But it's marketing.
Yeah.
It's so free. It's so easy to do.
And I love to do it. I don't mind. And I'm not asking for it in return. It'd be nice, yes, but I'm not asking for it in return.
Yeah, people don't do that. And I think a lot of it is, sometimes people make the excuse, I don't know this and I
don't know how to do that.
You know how to get out. It's not.
I've seen you do it.
Knock it off. But again, I think it comes down to something within their soul where they just don't really want to support because they're feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes not all ignorance.
Yeah.
But you can't. The thing is, with that, you either will have to address it if they're important in your life. But if they're really not, it's like you got to just you can't let those things. And I'm speaking to the folks out there because I see it in the comments. Like a lot of women, she didn't do this and she didn't do that. And it's like you cannot let that deter you because then they're showing you who they are. So you need to act accordingly.
Yes.
Maybe they're not really your sister, so you need to figure out a different group of friends.
Yeah.
Or if you love them, address it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then see where that goes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough out here. So how do we hold each other accountable without tearing each other down?
Being able to accept criticism.
Or asking. Like asking for that.
Being able to accept.
Asking for feedback, giving feedback in the most loving and kind way possible. I mean, understanding people aren't always going to receive it the way you intended it, but I think if you see something that's just not looking right to you, without being judgy, without accusations, maybe ask some leading questions and then offer some advice.
Yeah, I think it's important to do that. But to your point, I think folks got to be receptive. And let's be clear, everybody's not. So you kind of have to figure it out. And I always say this: if the person means enough to you, you're gonna address it.
Yeah.
If they don't. Let it fly because the reality, if they don't mean, you just let it go because you're not. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. But if they mean something to you, you gotta address it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what are some ways that we can lift each other up?
I'm all about support. Like my girl has a candle making business and she makes candles. Best candles I've ever used. So I go out I want my t-shirt. I'm looking for my sweatshirt. When she does events, I'm there. I'm taking orders. I'm helping her out. That's my way of supporting because I truly believe in her product.
Yes.
That's how you're supposed to show up. If they're your true friends and you're really trying to be about picking each other up, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even have to be asked.
Yeah. I mean, and if you can't physically show up, there's other ways to support, right?
Yeah.
I think these are my girls. Thank you. They've been in my corner from day one. But I say cheering them on, encouraging them. Like, don't stop, don't quit, keep going. What do you need? Like, what do you need? Like you said, you show up and you help me out. Like she has her favorite scent, and she makes sure it sells out. So that's how she shows up. But I love that. So, but I think encouraging, supporting, and cheering the people on to keep going is helpful.
I think that's very helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's also too, so I'll take it a step further. When you have, so I'll use another good friend of mine as an example from a business perspective. Like, if you have resources or contacts of people, share them, right? So I have a friend, I was looking at different ways of financing some different business ventures, right? And she put me on to somebody. I would have never met that person, right? I would have never met that person to help me to be like, to have, even whether I leverage his products or not, just having the conversation with him propelled me so much further. So I think that when you have those contacts, share it, right? I have another friend, if I, one of my properties, I was like, listen, I need somebody to get this damn HVAC fixed, and it's not in the same state. Right. So she's going, let me put you on to X, Y, and Z. Let me put you on to this person, So I think things like that are very helpful. And you know what that does? People gatekeep. And it drives me nuts.
It does. And you know what that does? Not only does it give you a resource, it gives that person the risk.
That's right.
That's right. You're going to give that as a answer from somebody else. That person business. So it plays it forward in many ways. Yeah.
And then when I have something, I'm like, hey, yo, like even when, me and my stocks, and I'll be like, oh, yo, I'm about to do this. And I'll say to her, hey, I'm about to invest here. And then she'll be like, oh, shit, let me go buy some, So she does it without even research sometimes. She trusts you. And I'm like, listen, it may go belly up. But we both going down if it does, right? But my point is, like, stop with the gatekeeping or trying to do stuff to monetize. Everything don't got to be monetized. Sometimes you giving back some time that helps. I also think too, I'm a big believer of this, when you do have a person that has a business, I've always been this way, pay them for their fucking services. Stop trying to get a damn hook, nickel and dime. I hate me like too. Pay them for their services. Everything don't got to, let me get this hookup. No, I had to pay for these resources. You know what I'm saying? So pay them. I'm a big believer in that, because you're the first, you're helping to invest in them, and that's showing that you believe in what they're doing by you paying them, So I'm a big believer, like with my friends, we pay. If I have something, they pay. We don't do that. Let me get the hookup, and then that's not what we do. So because we respect the time and value that's been put in. It's their business. So I think things like that are very helpful in building a sisterhood, in my opinion. All right, yeah.
Now my girl here is about to put out a journal, and I can't wait. Because
I have a mock copy. I meant to bring it today. Oh, okay. It's right on my desk. I messed up.
So I know this is early, but I'm going to share a story. As we were coming up, and the few times that I was riding the train, my girl here used to put out these posts, and they usually be paragraphs, but they used to make me laugh.
You talking about way back when?
Way back when. When I say I was looking forward to every morning.
Oh, man, that was a long time.
Going online and seeing something that she posted to get me through the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I always thought she was going to come out with like a short story or a book. And I could see it happening. And I'm hoping that she's been talking about it. I hope it happens.
That's hard work, man.
Because she could tell some stories.
It's a lot.
As you all have, what she
worries.
No, it is a lot, and maybe, but it's a lot to do. But yeah, I am coming out with a journal. I'm really happy. I'm proud of it. I got a mock. Thank you. I got a mock version of it, with just some tweaks I need to make after the. When you get the real version, you're like, okay, hang on a second. Let's change this around. I think it could really help people. It's helped me, so. I think it could really help people. So look forward to sharing that with you guys. But see how this right here, between her candle biz, my journal, when you come out with something, this is how you rally behind and empower and uplift and really speak life into that person so that they can keep going. Because first of all, whenever you're launching anything, it could be a lonely road, right? Because there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of you talking, you're trying to talk yourself out. You know it's, you're like this, and if you don't have that grounding and the people to rally behind you, it's tough. You really have to have the mental fortitude to push. So that's true sisterhood. Being very supportive, boosting it, all that stuff, and that's how you uplift each other. And I just think all that stuff is important. And the same thing when you walk into the hallways in corporate America, when you give them a nod back, which we do, but sometimes where it gets to be is when there's the competition piece.
Yeah.
And that's
unfortunate. We really should do better, more lifting each other up, bringing each other, trusting. I don't like the mean girls.
That's a big thing that's been going around on social media, particularly within Black women that are leaders, where it was disheartening for me to read. I think there was a post that I would normally shout out the person that wrote. I just don't remember, and I didn't capture it. But there was a post that somebody wrote where they were like, any manager I had that has been horrendous has always been a Black woman. And that, when I read it, I was like, damn, because I look at some of the people that I've managed and I'm still friends with them to this day,
Yeah, I can unfortunately share a same story, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It sucks, though, because it doesn't have to be me. Now, I will tell you this. The first Black woman that managed me, I was 17 years old. I was working for an insurance brokerage, and she was tough.
I don't mind tough. No, but be fair.
It's fair. No. She was super fair. We are still friends to this day. I don't know if she looks at the podcast, but she was one tough cookie to crumble. But because of that toughness, she instilled in me different qualities that I have to this day, how I operate. Like she didn't be, and the reason why I know why she was so tough, because she was like, I ain't gonna let you gonna be the, like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure. And she had a way. It's funny. She would only. Yeah, she was something else. When I think back, like, she would talk to you any kind of way, but just she wouldn't embarrass me with. It was never an embarrassment. It was more like, how we get down. Let's get this pot.
Yeah.
And I got that. Right. But it was never mean. It was with love. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't. Like I said, I don't mind tough. Be fair. Be nice and be respectful. Like, I had my very first time working with having a female woman of color manage over me. I was started as an admin, right? And there was several of us on the floor. She would come to me for the most menial task and never go to them. It'd be like, oh, the copy is out of toner or whatever, out of paper or something, whatever have you. I mean, you're walking past, the copy is back there, and you're walking past, like, because we all sat, like, I guess if I remember, we all sat in the first row of the team that we supported. Yeah, the team that we supported. God damn. And she would walk past all of them and come to me. They couldn't do it, and that was the very first time. But I did have some positive experiences. Like, we used to do in-person training.
Okay.
I just always used to sit in the back of the class because whatever. But I had one woman of color tell me in the training session, sit in the front. She said, we sat in the back all our lives.
That's right.
Sit in the front.
That's right.
And so I had ups and downs, but it's still disheartening to not have somebody lift you up and pull you,
especially in this day and age.
And and I'm not always riding on the Black woman train in that kind of a way. But when you know that they're pushing you down and stepping on you and looking over you and looking past you, treat other people differently.
Yeah,
it's not an easy pill to swallow. So
it shows that there's something that happened to them that they're now trying to dispatch, that they're not healed. There's some trauma that happened to them. That they try. It sucks.
Not breaking that cycle.
Yeah, you gotta get past it. You gotta get past it.
Yeah. So while we talk about supporting and being there for people, I think it's also important to note that we should never pour from an empty cup. So be there for your people, be there and support and lift everybody up. But if you're not full yourself, take the time to fill up and refuel. Spend that alone time. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And fill up and refuel and go out and support and fill in and help where you can. So
I agree. You got a fun fact?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's hit it.
Psychological studies show that strong bonds of sisterhood amongst women can literally lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and boost oxytocin,
I believe it.
the bonding hormone. In other words, having a tight-knit group of supportive women, friends, isn't just good vibes. It's biologically calming and healing. Some researchers call it the tend and befriend response, a unique stress coping mechanism seen especially in women. Sisterhood is basically a group of chat therapy sessions sprinkled with chaos, unsolicited advice, and undying loyalty.
you said something in the fact that reminded me of and you've seen a podcast too with Michelle and her brother podcast, and she talked about how when the girlfriend come over and they're catching up and they're getting it's almost like a therapy session. They're spending 2 hours or more and they haven't even touched the surface of anything yet. I thought that was so good. I mean, it's true when you connect with your true sister friend
Feeling.
and you get a chance to really catch up and dig in and talk about all the things. I mean, you probably talk occasionally on the phone or whatever, but you really just to get in and have those face-to-face conversations, you're uninterrupted, you got your food, your drink or whatever. It's great.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. I love it.
The vibe. And you it does, I believe everything, it boosting your, lowering your stress, boosting your growth, or lowering your cortisol or whatever the hell it said. I agree. Yeah.
Because we had a therapy session today.
No, and it's a good thing. Yeah, I think it's things are you get it out. You just it gives you clarity.
Yes,
and then you could just move forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got any unpopular opinions?
Unpopular or popular, they're an opinion no matter what.
All right, sis, let's hear it.
Not every sis is your sister. Some women want proximity, not community.
Ooh, damn.
I think that's closer to a fact.
That is a fact.
No, real talk. That is. I agree, and I think sometimes we have to exercise discernment.
Yeah,
because some of us, we want sisterhood so bad that we'll put those people in the pockets of being, oh, they're my sister, and they not.
I'm like, talked about that too, but be careful how you call people your friends so fast. I'm like, you gotta be careful when you call your sister too.
That's right.
Because we know all family is not blood related, right?
All right, and I say that all the time, and it's sad because I'm closer with you guys than my own.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough. It happens, though. It happens.
Yeah. Black women get praised for being strong, but penalized when they ask for help. I think that can go both ways. I think you get penalized for being strong, you get penalized for asking for help, you get penalized for asking for help, and you get penalized for not asking for help. I think it's a
catch-22. Yeah, for sure.
It's catch-22. Sure. I believe that. Women's empowerment brunches are cute, but are we really supporting each other outside of the mimosas? Yes, we are.
I think in my perspective, it was all supported.
Yes, we are.
And I could say, yeah, I think so. I think there's some mean girl brunches, but there's, for the most part, we're supporting.
And even a good one. Some people come there,
with
whatever intention they come there with, and you take away what you take away from it.
Yeah.
If you go there with the intention of this is not gonna work for me or whatever, that's what you're gonna walk away with.
That's right.
If you're gonna come in there open-minded, willing to hear and listen and connect with the people,
that's right.
That's what you're gonna get out of it. Yes, it's just like going to church, but you get out, you get what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Going to school, you get what you want to get out of it.
Yeah.
So
and make it work and make it count.
Yes.
So listen. You tell us about your sisterhood experience. We'd love to hear it. Particularly if you have sisterhood experiences that are very positive. We always want to uplift those, right? Because I think too far often in social media, we hear about all the negativity. So let's hear about some positive sisterhood experiences.
Yeah.
Drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.